Hey, what's up, guys? I figured I would do a follow-up video on using this as a heat treating oven. What this is it's a Marcel iron. They force you to buy them when you go to cosmetology school and learn how to use them. So when you get out in the real world, you never use them again, but you have this conversation starter. Alright, well, I made up a bunch of little springs yesterday and put them in the oven for an hour. And then after that hour, I left. I turned it off first and left, let it cool down, and I came back today, and these springs actually look pretty good. So we're gonna do a little bit of testing with them. I'll show you what the music wire looks like before it gets heat treated. So inside this box we have various examples of broken dreams and hopes, but this is the same type of music wire. The springs are done in, so you can see it got a little darker. I think you can see. Alright, so let's try to cut one of these. The ones I had my friend do, they were super brittle. I mean, they were done. That was my knuckle. So, alright, it looks like I can't break that. So it is definitely not brittle.
Yeah, that's great. But what about my job?
Let's take a look at it. There's where we took a bite out of it. It is not brittle. Let's try to deform it. I guess we should measure it before we do this, but we're not going to do that. Squeeze it as hard as I can. Tell you what. It doesn't look like it deformed any. Now I've got a different type over here. The coils are a little bit further apart. So we'll see how that does. Trying to deform one of these. We might have some better luck with this. It doesn't shoot across the room. So that's pretty nasty. Clamp down on it. I don't know. It might have compressed a little bit. Let's go ahead and squeeze the other one and see. Of course, this is under pressures that I'm never going to put them under as far as a working load. And I'm really bearing down on that. Okay. Let's get one of the another one out. So it looks like it compressed a little bit, but I'm totally happy with that because I'm going to be using this style in the for the auger spring anyway. Just kind of wanted to get an idea about this. But these Marcel irons, you can find them on eBay for like $100 or less, because there's plenty of beauty school dropouts that put these things on eBay if you wanted a less expensive alternative to, say, a heat treat oven for knife making or something like that. Some of them come with thermostats. This one does not have a thermostat. It's pretty conceivable that you could put your own thermostat on one of these. I don't really know how hot it gets, but I didn't check it yesterday, but it was right just a hair under 500 degrees Fahrenheit the times I did check it the first time. Now let me show you something else. This little cutoff saw is probably the first tool I bought for BB machine guns to make the augers. And it takes these little wheels that are aluminum oxide abrasive wheels, and I cut aluminum stock and brass tubes with it. But those little wheels, I think they're only 2 inches wide. It goes through them really quick. So I figured I'd be smart and find a diamond wheel to go on it. And somehow I got my measurements wrong for the outer diameter, because this thing takes 2-inch wheels, but this is a 3-inch wheel. And it did fit on the arbor. It's a 3/8 inch arbor. So it did fit on there, but I had to take off the shroud, the protective cover, to get it on there. And I was hoping that it would have a smaller kerf than it does. You know, this is for cutting tile, and I'm trying to cut aluminum stock with it. So it's if you can imagine trying to cut a hot dog with cookie dough, that's what it feels like when you cut aluminum with it. But at least now I have a bench grinder. Moving on to a little more fun stuff, I thought that since everybody loves rails so much, that I would see about mounting some on the drive housing for the BB machine gun. And this screw holds it to the gun. And I have these just laying around. And that hole lines up perfectly with that hole. I'm not sure how well you can see, but I'm going to be putting some rails on the side of the prototype just to show you guys how that looks. And if you like it, I'm probably going to be offering matching earrings. I got kind of slow, so I started to build another one, and I'm to the point where all I need to do is solder it together for this one. I have one more after this, and then we're going to go to the revised parts. But the price isn't going to go down, so if you get this one or the other one, you will get the replacement parts that you can do with whatever you want. But from there, we're just going to go with the revised parts. Another thing that I'm planning on doing to the prototype is I have a 700 millimeter barrel, and now that I have a lathe, I'm gonna cut a bushing for it and make an end cap and put use a piece of carbon fiber tubing as a shroud to see how that looks, and maybe I can have all that done with the rails on the drive housing. And as you can see, I've been having a little bit of fun with the lathe, trying to get used to it. I had this flashlight in the back, and I never used it, but it does have a magnet right here. And I found another magnet, and I put it right there, so that's on there pretty good. And I couldn't see back in here to get readings off the calipers, but now I have plenty of light to work with. Another thing about this lathe is that the guard that comes with it, it fits on there like so, and that makes it impossible to get close up to work with the tool posts, rendering it pretty much useless for what I need it. So I haven't had the guard on it, but it does make a good bracket for supporting that with that magnet. And one other thing, in the owner's manual, I told you guys I was going to have fun reading that. It is chock full of some good ones. It talks about don't wear a necktie when you're operating one of these things. I got kind of a kick out of that. Yeah, not really sure why you would do that, but apparently maybe they have a problem in China with people wearing neckties operating these things. Alright guys, that's about all I got for you now. Hopefully the next video I'll be able to show you guys something cool. Those parts, I checked on them. They're in yesterday they were in New York, so I imagine they'll be here early midweek next week. So I'll be posting about that and be thinking about what you want to do with those parts, and just let me know, and I'll see y'all later.